Hello and welcome to episode 255 of Drink the Movies. I'm Brian here as always with Michaela. And sometimes movies rise to the upper echelons and become, genre defining, right? Things like The Terminator, things like Jaws, things like When Harry Met Sally, things like The Matrix, maybe something like that. But sometimes movies are so great. They rise through to the top and they become genre defining in two different genres. And today we are talking about the greatest romantic film of all time and the greatest sports film of all time, The Cutting Edge.
Oh, Brian. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Uh, just so you know, just for our listeners, I'm the one who usually puts together this movie list, and usually we should rename this instead of Drink the Movie. It's like movies that Brian hates that Michaela loves. But this was a request. You really wanted this to. Be something that we talk about this year, not only because you love the film, but it also closely ties in with the Winter Olympics, which you also love.
It does. It's true. It's true. There and shout out to whatever that movie or miniseries was on Netflix that got me thinking about this a couple weeks ago. We talked about in the lobby bar. But yeah, it got me thinking about The Cutting Edge, and it was a movie that I liked a lot as a kid. Obviously, it's going into the Winter Olympics right here. I've been watching some figure skating. So that makes sense. Get the bangers right out of the way here. The first week of the Olympics, The Cutting Edge is what we're going to be getting into here. So let's do this, Michaela. We need to mix up a cocktail that is worthy of bringing the worlds of figure skating and of ice hockey together with love and respect. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back to mix up this week's drink.
So, Brian, I have a confession. I had never seen this film. I thought I had. And then I watched it
Mm,
and realized that I had actually never seen it because
maybe
well,
you
we'll
saw
talk
one of
about
its
that.
many
But
sequels.
But I maybe, oh gosh, there are sequels to this? Oh, great. Anyway, but what I didn't know was that there are drinks in the movie. There's a bunch of parties, there's a bunch of pre-Olympic games, there's a night out
Hmm.
where they're shooting tequila. But I wanted to find a drink that was representative of ice skating, like figure skating, as well as hockey. And I looked high and low and near and far, and the best I got is the Zamboni. which
To say
which
about it.
which you use if for those of you who don't know what a Zamboni is, it's the machine that helps scrape off all the extra bits of ice that get accumulated on top of the ice when you're either playing hockey or skating in a skating rink. And everybody, like, I don't know if you had a skating rink experience as a kid, but you would have to get off the ice every couple hours, and the Zamboni would come around and like make everything beautiful and smooth again.
You explained that like someone that grew up in Texas, so bravo, bravo there. But yeah, that is what the Zamboni does. It cleans the ice, right? And we looked high and low for cocktails. We really wanted to do something called the toe pick, but the closest we could find was a cocktail with an actual toe, which is too extreme even for us here at Drink the Movies. So we're gonna go ahead and mix up a Zamboni. And to be honest, Michaela, like I like the name. I liked the fact that we were paying homage to the Zamboni, right? Cleans the ice for both figure skating and for ice hockey, so that makes sense. There's even a scene with a Zamboni in the film as well, right? When he's playing hockey, kind of skating backwards as the Zamboni's cleaning the private ice rink there that you have Kate Moseley does and her loaded parents. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But honestly, I looked at the ingredients here and I was like, I don't know because this is very mint julep adjacent. Basically, it is a mint julep with the addition of some lemon juice and a mint julep. Sorry, Kentucky, not my favorite drink.
No, no. Um, yeah. This is okay. This is like you said, it's a mint julep adjacent cocktail. You can have some lemons if you want.
No,
You
not
know what?
to
Just
maybe I buried the lead right there. Maybe I came out weak on my free skates or technical skate, whatever the first is, the first one. Maybe I came out weak on that one. I don't like a mint julep, but I really like this.
You did? Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I want to say that I did that for you, but I did not at all. I didn't. There was another Zamboni drink. If you like Google these, if you Google like Zamboni cocktails, there is another one that is bright blue. And I almost wish we had done this because like 20 minutes into the movie, there is a bright blue cocktail that this woman is carting around in a giant martini glass. And I don't know if you saw it, Brian, but I was like, that would have been amazing, but it probably would have been a sugar bomb and tasted terribly. I actually didn't mind this drink, but I love me a mint julep. So
Yeah, so let's go ahead and put one of these together. It's really simple. If you can get the mint, maybe grow your own mint. I don't know if it was just me, but my mint was pretty busted at the grocery store. So into a shaker tin goes a half an ounce of simple syrup and 8 mint leaves. I think this differentiates from like a true mint julep. I think that just uses like fine sugar as opposed to simple syrup and a mint julep. But a half an ounce of your simple syrups, 8 mint leaves, give or take. It's like one sprig's worth of mint. Go ahead and muddle that up. You want to get all the mint busted up out of there. Easy peasy. Give that a squish there with your muddler, and then add some ice and 2 ounces of bourbon. Go ahead and shake that, and then you're going to want to double strain it, so that way you make sure to get all the mint out of your drink into a rocks glass with some fresh ice, and then take 2 lemon wedges and just squeeze the lemon juice right out of there. The reason I thought that this was going to be gross was because like a mint julep, it's fine, but it's not my favorite cocktail. And I was like, I don't know, the lemon feels like it's going to be, kind of out of place. It's going to be like really sharp and like acidic. I don't know. It's not really going to. You're literally just kind of like spraying it on top of the cocktail. But I have to say, this was really nice. Something about the lemon like tied in with that mint really really well. And yeah, I found myself liking it quite a bit.
Yeah, I had a couple of these and then I ran out of mint, and now I have to go get more because this is a really easy cocktail. The only really like shishi foo foo thing you really need to have is mint. And this is really, I really like it. It's refreshing. It's bourbon drinks tend to be very like dark and mysterious to me. We had a whole year where I was learning about bourbon. I mean, but this is like, I don't know, bright, and there's layers to this, right? And it's surprising because I have to tell you, it was a metaphor for the cutting edge because I thought I was really not going to enjoy that movie at all, and I was surprised. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It's the greatest things of all time right here in your glass and on your movie screen. So let's go ahead and do this, Michaela. Let's mix up another Zamboni. We'll get the ice cleared because we're going to have to figure out how to use that toe pick to propel ourselves to success, win a gold medal. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll grab some more mint and we'll be right back to chat about this week's film, The Cutting Edge.
spoiler warning for the cutting edge. If you've not yet seen this film, you've had a lot of time to. So, we're going to talk about it. And it's a competition. So there's going to be winners. There's going to be losers. There's going to be a lot of will they or won't they. We're going to talk about all of the things. So if you don't want that to be spoiled, you should stop what you're doing right now and go watch it and make yourself a Zamboni because it's pretty tasty. And then come back so we can chat about all things the cutting edge.
Absolutely. And if you haven't seen it yet, you've had plenty of time because this was released in 1992. It was directed by Paul Michael Glazer, a director we talked about not too long ago because Paul Michael Glazer also directed The Running Man. Similar tales here. Similar tales. This one stars Moira Kelly as Kate Moseley, the figure skater with gold medal dreams, and DB Sweeney as Doug Dorsey, the hockey player who takes a really bad body check and has to hang up his own NHL dreams. But maybe he could trade in those hockey skates for some figure skates, and all will be okay. So, Michaela, you mentioned that you have never seen this movie, which is that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes, things, slip through the cracks, slip through the cracks. I watched this probably back close to the time it would have come out. And I'm almost 100% positive. I don't really have any recollection of this, but I think that the reason I saw this was because it was on one of those things we've talked about so many times here on Drink the Movies, free HBO preview weekend. Because that's how you got, if you lived somewhere without like cable TV and parents that could pay like $100 a month for HBO or whatever nonsense it cost back in the day, which was insane, you would get the free preview weekend like every 3 months. You would go to the store or you would clear out your closet full of your VHS tapes and you just record whatever was on for like 48 straight hours. And The Cutting Edge was one of those things. So I think that I got it off of that. But then I ended up watching this movie a lot because I love myself some ice hockey. That was my own NHL dream right there. And the story was fun and lighthearted. It was this love story, but I don't know, something about it just really kind of spoke to me back in, I don't know, 92, 93, whenever I would have seen this.
Aw. Well, it's really sweet. It starts off kind of like I don't know, like it starts off as almost a biopic around Doug Dorsey, right? Like the opening sequence is him in this U.S. hockey team. He's at the Winter Olympics. He's going, ends up running into Kate, right? But he's gonna go and he's late. He's really really late, and he's kind of like the guy that oh, never, nothing ever bad seemed to happen to, right? He's kind of a salt of the earth person. He's from humble beginnings, perhaps. But like he wakes up late to the Olympics. I don't know who the heck does that, but apparently he does. He
He
had a
was with a
girl in his
lady.
bed and he
Yeah.
couldn't remember her name. That's
Apparently that's a
gross.
thing at the Olympics.
I
So
mean, apparently it's a thing in
in
whenever
the
this movie
Calgary
came out.
Olympics. My
Yeah.
favorite part
Oh.
about this whole movie was watching this, having just recorded Cool Runnings, because their meat here is at the 1988 Calgary Olympics, right? We see Kate Moseley go out and do her performance. They mess up, so she does not win the gold medal. Then as she's coming off the ice, she literally runs into Doug Dorsey, who's late for his hockey game, which seems bad. It does not seem to be good to be late for your hockey game at the Olympics, and it's important to remember because now you watch the Olympics and I think, or at least for a while there, the hockey teams were made up of professional, like NHL players here at the Olympics now. But back then, they were all amateurs, right? So it was a lot of
Mm.
kids coming out of college and stuff like that who were aspiring to get to the NHL, and the Olympics could be seen as like a springboard for that dream potentially. But yeah, they run into each other. But I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, Cool Runnings, the Jamaican bobsled team's probably like there, like at the ice house, like watching this go down.
Yeah, they're probably there.
Shared
Like
universe. Cool
except for the
Runnings and
one
Cutting
who's
Edge.
back in the room trying to figure out the
Yeah,
turns,
Doris
right?
Doris is
Right?
practicing. Yeah.
He's
Sanka
practicing.
Sanka's
Yep.
there. Sanka is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yes.
He's like, bobsled time, let's do it. But yeah, Doug has a really tough game. Now, I don't know enough about hockey, okay? I mean, heated rivals aside, or heated rivalry aside, I do not know that much about hockey. But I do know that if you have a blind spot because of some sort of injury, that's got to be really bad. And unfortunately, that's what happens to Doug, right? He has this head injury and it permanently damages his peripheral vision. Don't know why that would be okay in figure skating because I think you probably need to be able to see there, but
Because
I
no one is
digress.
coming from behind to like end your life with a stick, like is what happens to Doug Dorsey. So that's not good. That's not good. You need to have the peripheral vision, but in figure skating, you're just locked in, like on your one person. Yeah, that's all you got to do. You're just
Just got
memorizing
to
a
make sure they're
routine.
not. Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean,
it's
I just
you're a
didn't know
dancer,
technically if
Michaela.
that
You
made
could you
sense.
could dance with like your eyes closed, probably, like if you were really good and really dedicated to learning how to do it. But taking like a
That's
puck to the temple, that would be bad.
that would be bad. That would be bad. But so Doug kind of is in this really tough spot, right? He is never going to be, he was young. He thought he was going to be able to go and play in the NHL. That's not going to happen. He's basically retired, and that's really hard when you retire from something that you didn't even really get to start, right? So automatically, like as an audience person, and especially now as like a 40 some odd year old person, I felt very much more attuned to how Doug was feeling than what's going on in Kate's life because Kate, she seems like incredibly stuck up. She is yelling at her coach, telling him, the guy that she was partnered with wasn't any good. She's yelling at her dad. She's yelling at anybody who will listen. And her dad, who loves her very much and has, I don't know, boatloads of money, like I cannot even
Mm-hmm.
imagine. What did he do? Did he like learn how to slice? Was he the inventor of bread or something? I don't know. But he has so much money. He's like, dude, we're gonna go find somebody to play your partner, and maybe we can train for the 1992 Winter Olympics and get you some more accolades, right? And they find Doug because I guess everybody else said no after dealing with her for like 10 seconds because she is real tough to deal with.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, her dad is super loaded. Her mom passed away, I guess, as she was young. That's something we learned later in the film. But yeah, dad's super loaded. They have like this whole like estate. It has its own like private like ice rink. That's pretty good. That's pretty good there. Her dad is played by Terry O'Quinn. This was pre-Lost days, so apparently this is also in the Lost universe. So that's good there. But yeah, the coach Anton Pamchenko, totally butchering that. Played by Roy Dotrice. He might be my favorite character in the movie here. He's pretty fun, but he goes out and he seeks out Doug Dorsey because they try to bring in other people that know how to figure skate. And problem is when you're a jerk, Kate Moseley, is that no one wants to work with you, right? She's throwing everyone on under the bus. She's complaining. She's like hard to work with, like, and that all tracks. But maybe Doug Dorsey is looking to get a leg up because he's going back home to Minnesota, right? NHL teams aren't calling. Sorry, your eyeball, it needs to function properly. eventually to get paid a lot of money to play in the NHL probably. So no one's calling until one day Anton shows up at the job site and is like, I have like this crazy idea, and everyone who could possibly do it in the world has turned me down. So I'm turning to you now, as someone who is probably good at ice skating, maybe not good at figure skating, but you probably have good work ethic, which was not illustrated in the first time we see his work ethic as he's wake up late for the Olympics. But I digress. So Doug is going to go fly. Where's it's like Connecticut or something? I don't know. It's some rich people place. And he goes, and they have their first meeting, and he learns that he is going to be tasked with figure skating, which is different than skating on hockey skates. Truth be told.
Uh, sure. The main difference, apparently, other than all the moves, is this thing called a toe pick. And I love this scene when
Mm-hmm.
when they first meet, they don't recognize, I don't think they recognize each other from the first time they actually see each other. So we know that they've met once before,
Hmm.
but I don't think they do. And
They were in
it's
bad headspaces the first
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But it's kind of interesting now in a kismet sort of way. Like the first time that they saw each other was right after her big fall, right? And right before his big fall in where they thought they wanted to be. I'm trying to give this film as much credit as possible because Brian says it's one of the greatest films of all time. So just roll with me here. When they
That's right.
actually meet and they realize that they are meeting each other and realize who each other is and figuring each other out, she's a complete witch. She's not very nice. She's not grateful. To be fair, he doesn't know how to figure skate. He has not learned that, and they use different skates. There's a toe pick, which helps you stop in figure skating. I didn't know. I don't know how to use it either, and I'm not bad at skating. But whenever I try to use it, I end up falling head over heels on my butt. So there's a ton of really fun footage of them getting together, trying to figure this out while Anton is like screaming at them in Russian. It's wonderful.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So they're trying to kind of feel each other out, and part of Kate's deal is that she's way not as interested in the figure skating as her dad wants her to be. There's probably some like family stuff there. I don't. Her mom was a figure skater, I believe. There's like a picture of her doing like ice capades or something like that, and probably something that she got into like as a youngster, right? And then lose your mother, and then her father kind of keeps pushing for this, and we actually get like a pretty good scene there between Doug Dorsey and the dad, Jack Moseley. There's, Doug's kind of going into the office and basically saying his goodbyes, like, thanks for flying me all the way out here. It's been a heck of a good time, but and there's this empty box like out like in this like I don't know. It looks like a like Bruce Wayne's like mansion. How he has
Mm.
like in the first like Batman, and there's like that hall of like armor. That's what this room looks like that Jack set out there. But there's this box, and he's like, if you look at it long enough, you'll start to see the gold medal in there. And he basically questions Doug Dorsey's like work ethic and his ability to do this thing, which Doug takes the wrong way. You don't challenge a Minnesota construction worker to tell them that they can't do something because you know what they're going to do. They're going to do that thing, and they're going to do it great. So that's exactly what Doug says. He's like, keep your money, you fool. I'm going to show you. I'm going to be the best figure skater partner that there is, even if your daughter is a jerk to me the whole time. So he's going to buckle down. And I love then you get like the typical like sports movie kind of like montage of each day as they're starting to like get together and start to practice. And they kind of start to get into this rhythm where they're just trying to outdo the other. And Anton Pamchenko is just sitting to the side. He's loving it. He's like, this is the kind of attitudes we've been needing around here this whole time.
Yeah, I will say like the idea of Anton sees the chemistry between them even if they don't. And the chemistry is pretty acidic at the beginning, but he figures out a way to motivate both of them properly, right? He doesn't want to be told he can't do something, and she doesn't like to be put in her place, but because he is continuously doing that, she's got to stay on her game. And so I kind of see this, and they kind of set aside their differences to work together. One of the scenes that I actually really like is they've been working together for a while, and but it's Christmas and it's time to go. He's going to go home to his family for a weekend. Again, you get the feeling that it's from humble beginnings, right? Like he doesn't have a lot of things, and so he gives her like a jersey,
Mhm.
and she doesn't really get it until she does, and then she realizes what that really means to him. And I think that is really cool. And in turn, she gives him a book, and it's kind of a slight at the beginning, but then it turns into kind of this inside joke between the two of them, because she was like, I'm either going to give you Great Expectations, or I'm going to give you like Curious George goes to play hockey or something, right? Um, and they both, I don't know, I really like this scene because to me, that was the scene where Kate really kind of turns and quits being just this stuck-up little rich girl in my mind as the audience looker, right, watching this for the first time.
Hmm.
Um, and they both actually go off that weekend to defend each other in to their families, basically, right? She runs into her old coach. He comes in to watch her or something, and he antagonizes her and says, "Oh, you're never going to make it." And she's like, "You just wait. You were terrible to me. You told me I was terrible, and we had so much work to do. And look at me now. Like I'm going to get this. It was really heartfelt." And he goes home. Doug goes home, and he loves his brother, but he's told his brother he was joining the Merchant Marines because he was terrified that he was going to get made fun of for being a figure skater. And turns out he was going to get fun of because he was a figure skater. And he completely defends that. He's like, it's way harder than hockey ever was for me. And I
Hmm.
really love that because we get to see that transformation for both of them, and they don't see it. So when they come back together, the story that they've continued to tell about each other is the same.
Hmm. Yeah, and I like that kind of break that you have there in the middle because it starts with that exchanging of the Christmas gifts, and then they have kind of this forced forced separation or time apart here over the couple of weeks, and they come back together for I guess it's like the New Year's Eve party or whatever, like at the thing there, and like literally sparks are going to fly because they turn in to like kiss at midnight, like as you do, and there's a literal like sparkler between them for the sparks to start flying, and that's when you get into more of like the love story, romantic comedy kind of aspect of this, and I do think that Moira Kelly and DB Sweeney do seem to have some pretty good chemistry in the film there, so it's pretty believable from that stance, but they can't really like change who they are that much. We have Kate Moseley there, who's a little bit abrasive, and also, spoiler warning, has a fiance. Not great if you're trying to fall in love. Doug Dorsey also is this kind of playboy kind of character, but we go through then is more of the training, and they get to like the U.S. nationals, and they end up making the Olympic team because the team ahead of them fell down, and they get catapulted there into second place. They get to go to the Olympics. I do like there's some like animosity there, Doug Dorsey, because they do their routine. They do it like flawlessly. Like it seems like they should have come off without much of a hitch there, but everyone's kind of looking down their nose at Doug Dorsey there as kind of this outsider figure. And I would guess I don't really know anything about figure skating. I've never done any figure skating, but it seems like those circles are probably pretty small. So that could be very believable. I could see that totally being the case right there. Similar to Cool Runnings we just watched last week, right? When they're trying to keep them out because they're, perceived as outsiders to the sport that is very like tightly knit of, people that
Mm.
compete kind of in this thing. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, you see more and more of kind of the attraction, the mutual attraction of that. But, again, they can't really, change, their own stripes, as it were. Doug Dorsey is kind of this playboy type of a character. Kate is a little bit abrasive, but they seem to kind of like keep coming in a little bit closer. The magnetism is more attractive than it is less attractive as we go.
Yeah. And other people are catching notice of this way before they seem to. One of which is Kate's fiance, right? She's really
Can't
mad.
get
He
anything
did,
past him.
can't get, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's also Kevin
He,
Costner's dad in Field of Dreams, that guy.
oh yeah, he sure is. He sure is. He seems to be like about as interesting as a piece of toast. I don't know. It makes sense that she's with him because he's rich, he's fairly good looking, he looks like he's one of those people that she should be with. Um,
And he
and
lives in London, so you don't
and
even
he
have to
lives in
like see
London.
each other that much.
I mean, one of the things that she is kind of known for is now doing all these things that she thinks is expected of her, right? And we don't see enough of that. I would have liked to see a little bit more of that dynamic, so that at the end it would have come out a little bit differently. But in this case, I really like it because she gets so mad because Doug is going to go off on a weekend away, and every girl loves him. Uh, every
I,
girl. There are 16 people trying to kiss him or kissing him, including like a grandmother at the
yeah,
New Year's Eve party. Like she's and Kate is livid. She's like, he is a rabbit. I can't believe this. She is way more upset than she should ever be. And her fiance is like, hmm.
So I haven't watched this movie in a long time and just rewatched it, last week so we could talk about it here for the podcast. Something I never even noticed as a kid, but that I totally noticed this time and was my favorite like line, like little moment of the thing is that Doug's going to go like away for the weekend, basically to get out of there. And
Hmm.
Kate's left behind, and she confronts Anton about why does she have to stay there and practice. Doug gets to go like off to like New York City and like slut himself around or something to that effect.
He's going
and
whoring in Boston.
Anton just looks at her and he's like, well, actually, he's going to Boston. So,
Right, right, right.
and I was like, that's so funny. That's so funny. And she was so like driven mad by it. But they end up they make the Olympic team, right? So you go, and then Kate, who's famously not drank during this. I didn't really remember that from my times watching it before, but not a drinker, but decides to celebrate here. They're going to be going to the Olympics. Now is the time to celebrate, and doing straight shots of tequila is a terrible way to get introduced to drinking. On a side note, so that goes a little bit overboard. And about this time, their feelings for each other kind of boil over the top, so to speak. Kate basically throws herself at Doug, and Doug, wisely, turns her down. That's, not a good idea. Your first night of drinking should not also be the time that this happens. So he politely declines, puts her to bed. That's great. And Doug goes back to his own room, and come on, Team USA, what are you doing, other figure skater lady? Just leave the guy alone. Doug is a hot commodity in the cutting edge, I will say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, now to be fair, in 1990, he was like quintessentially the best looking. Like he was
I mean,
like
DB Sweeney, good looking dude. I get it,
good,
but
good. Yeah. I loved this scene, the scene where she throws herself at him because she is pretty drunk, right? It's like and they just perceive she just thinks that, this is fine. And he is a voice of reason, which is great. But then her feelings get hurt. And this was the moment for me where I actually felt sorry for her because when she's like, I'm here. You just got done slutting yourself around in Boston or whatever. You're totally gonna want this, right? And he's like, no, and he doesn't say that he does. He's just like, this is not how this should happen, which is actually really sweet. It really means more than she realizes, but she is really embarrassed, and then she says terrible things and throws him out, right? And then, of course, the redheaded chick sees him and is like, "Hey," and he lets her into his hotel room, and we know what happens then. But the next morning, Kate's real hungover, and she decides to go say sorry. Or something because she locks herself out of her hotel room. I don't really know what happens, but she knocks on his door, and of course the redhead answers and is like, "Oh," and she knows what she was doing. It's terrible. So you really feel bad for Kate because she actually was opening up, and spoiler warning, or now she's let on that her fiance is no longer her fiance because he could tell that she was fallen head over heels in love with this guy. And so she's really hurt. And so this kind of shuts down any ability of her to connect with him, and it shows up right on the floor because they have to go and do their technical run or whatever they call it, and it goes really well. They do all the things that they want to do, but it doesn't look like they're actually skating together. And so that's a problem.
yeah, absolutely. It is a problem. Also, kind of on the backside of this, between the times of getting onto the Olympic team, they're trying to do this very dangerous kind of trick or part of the routine, or it's not a trick, I guess. I don't know, whatever you'd call it, that skill, right? The Pamchenko twist, I think they call it, which looks very scary. The actual like stunt doubles for Doug and Kate were, I think, the figure skating team from the Canadian like Winter Olympics like figure skating team. So I don't know, but I don't know. He's like swinging her around. Her head is like literally like inches from the ice. Like even like now, like watching it, I'm like, this is like nerve-wracking to watch. That like you're gonna slip and like crack your skull on the ice. Not great, not great. This is very dangerous thing. So yeah, so they go to Albertville, to France for the 1992 Winter Olympics, which is very nice, very nice. So you go and they go do their first routine. It's no spark there. That sparkler, whoever had that sparkler New Year's Eve, get to Albertville. That's what we need right now. We need a spark. And Kate's, she's done, right? She's made her peace with the fact that no gold medals are going to happen. She's made her peace with the fact that Doug spurned her, that her life is a wreck, and she spent it all in pursuit of this gold medal that she doesn't even know if she wanted in the first place. So she's about to leave, and they have this whole blow up, right? Jack goes in and is yelling at Doug, Dorsey there. He's like, you're terrible. You're too terrible for my daughter. You're a terrible figure skater. And he's like, well, no kidding. I'm a hockey player, but that's besides the point. And then also, I was watching the video of your daughter at the last Olympics, and it was totally her fault that they botched that move in their routine. So don't come yelling at me and don't go yelling at that guy because it was her fault all along. And Kate owns up to it. She's like, he's absolutely right. It was me. And about then, that's the time that we're going to get into the final act here of the movie.
Yeah. It's really tough because the morning of, Kate lets Doug know that she's leaving, that this will be her last skate, that she's retiring, she's not going to do it anymore, and that really makes Doug sad because he's like, "Man, you were good, and what about us?" And she's like, you'll find another partner, it's fine." And at this point, like, you really, he has some. I don't know. He has kind of a coming to his senses moment, which happens kind of quickly. But they have this conversation. He confesses that he doesn't know how it happened, but he's fallen in love with her. They they need to do this together. And then she just kind of turns around and says, okay, well, we're going to do this Pamcheco twist, because they've been debating whether or not they were going to do it, right? Because it is real dangerous. It looks real terrifying. But almost assuredly, if they do it right, they're going to pick up the gold,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Because no one's ever done this before.
Kate told the press that they were definitely not doing it, that it wasn't ready, and it was coming kind of after that night, I think, of
Yeah, she's like, I know,
of
no way.
debaucherousness. She's like, not happening now, not with this guy.
No. But all of a sudden, after he's like, I love you, like, come skate with me. Let's really skate. Like, let's really skate together. She says, okay, well, we're going to do the Pencheco move. And I don't know how they did that. I guess they both knew where to put it in the routine. They'd practiced it enough so they could do it. I have to say the cinematography piece for the skating in general in this film was really special because I didn't know that they couldn't skate.
Mhm.
I went and did the research, right? And I realized that they were not the people doing this, but the cinematography and the way the shots were was really pretty good.
Yeah, it
I
was edited really well.
it was really edited beautifully. And so this scene where they're together, it looks like they are truly like dancing with each other on this floor of ice, right? It looks beautiful. The music is kind of neat. They had this argument about what kind of music they were going to have before, and it's kind of a mix of both. It's got like these really melodic tunes to it, but it's definitely rock, and so
Mhm.
it was just really neat. And at the end they do this move, and I don't know. They show it. Like they show them doing it, but it's not them, I guess. I don't know. It looks great. And then he throws her in the air after her. She like her her head is like right next to the ice, and he's throwing her around, and then he throws her up in the air, and then he catches her, and it's beautiful. And then he's like, "Why did you want to do this?" And she tells him she loves him too. And then they kiss,
And then they
and then it's
kiss,
over.
and they win a gold medal, presumably. Yeah,
But
absolutely. And then
that's the best part, see, is that we don't even know if they've won, and they don't even care
they
because what
don't even
they've
care.
really won is each other.
Their hearts won a gold
Their
medal.
hearts won a
Whether
gold
they
medal in love.
whether their necks, I guess, won one is a different story. Maybe that's something that is delved into the sequel. So yeah, so that is the cutting edge. It's amazing. Best film of all time. So this spurned like its whole cinematic universe. There was the cutting edge going for the gold in 2006, which I think features their daughter. Uh, but then they had to like retcon like the original film, which terrible to make a sequel. Why didn't you just change the timing of that? Cutting Edge Chasing the Dream comes out in 2008, and The Cutting Edge Fire and Ice comes out in 2010. So maybe we're gonna have to get into all those. No, we're not going to. We're only going to watch this one. That's where I'm putting a pin in this. But yeah, it spawned all these things, and The Cutting Edge, it was did fine. Like it made some money, and it was well received enough. I mean, The Cutting Edge is not like a cinematic like achievement, but it has kind of this like cult following, I think, to it to this day, which is why it ended up getting, like literally like a decade, almost 2 decades on, getting sequels to this film that came about. One of the things I did not realize at the time I was a kid, because I wouldn't have had any reference or would have known who he would go on to become. But this was written by the one, the only Tony Gilroy, who has two Oscar nominations for writing and directing Michael Clayton back at the 2008. Academy Awards there, but also is the showrunner writer for a little show called Andor. I think he might have just won a Golden Globe or Primetime Emmy for like best writing in television dramatic series. So, as I said on my Letterboxd review, The Cutting Edge walked, so Cassian Andor could run. So there you go. So there you go.
Oh,
That's pretty neat. But yeah, that's The Cutting Edge. Like I said, it's something that I've always, I don't know, I've always had like a soft spot in my heart for this movie. And I think partially it was because growing up, similar to what I talked about last week with Cool Runnings, like I really like winter sports, and that was not something that I had access to in my young life. So I think that this was like another like little like window into that I got to see. So I don't know, Michaela, this was your first time watching it. The Cutting Edge, as people our age, how was it? How was it looking at it through a 2026 lens?
it was pretty good. It was pretty good. There were, I mean, there were some moments where it was very kitschy. It was very, very 1992, right? And as long as you keep that in mind, I think it's a really fun time. I may or may not have cried,
Mm.
believe it or
Hmm.
not. And yeah, I liked it. Again, I think critically, if I was really going to be critical of this film, it feels unfair almost to do it, but I would have liked to see more of their backstories, and had them learn a little bit more, or have us watch them learn a little bit more
Yeah.
about each other.
3 hour cutting edge director's cut. That's what we need.
Yeah, maybe,
Let's
yeah, like
let's do that.
just just because I mean they had to have spent a ton of time together on the ice. They keep talking about how it's 14-hour days and all the work
Hmm.
that they've done together. And we only see a couple of snippets of them not doing that, not practicing,
Hmm.
where they're exchanging like information about themselves. I would have liked that, because then it I think it would have been even more powerful for them both to have been like, yes, I do feel these feelings, and have it be more than just, attraction. Because, attraction is great, but when the deepening of it, and I think that's what they were trying to go for, is that this wasn't just, hey, I like you. It was really like, I'm in love. I mean,
Hmm. Yep.
he says some very big things at the end, right? And I would have just liked to have seen more of that. And again, I love though that they left it where it was unknown if they won or not, because you didn't
Hmm.
really care, and neither did they. They were just together, and I thought that that was really cool. That this to me is more of a romantic comedy for that reason, because we don't know what happened from a sports perspective.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and the focus on the sport really is not the key here, as is the case in a lot of sports films, especially better ones. And here the sporting aspect of it is really more of a setup to play into kind of this chemistry that the two have between themselves, because really you get that montage of them training, but really it's just kind of a way to propel like their relationship is like this one-upsmanship, because really you only get to see them like training, and you have the whole thing where Kate's obnoxiously saying toe pick every time he falls down, which is kind of funny. But you get that, and then eventually it kind of goes through them going through like this practice routine where he like sticks to landing and she does not, right? Which he thinks is hilarious, which is really great. And of course Anton thinks that that's pretty great too. So you get a little bit of that, you get a little bit of the hockey, not too much really on that. You see him kind of doing a little bit of hockey there. I love that they're there at the practice rink, and he's like playing hockey like against the Zamboni, right? The Zamboni's like
mm.
cleaning the ice, and he's like out there with his like hockey skates and his hockey stick, and he's like has a puck, and he's like skating backwards with it, and that challenges her to want to go play hockey. So you have a little bit of like a montage of there where she's crossing over into his world. But I love it. There's like a there's like a lazy boy recliner like next to the ice that she's sitting in, like reading a book while he's doing this. I thought that that was incredible. And yeah, to the sporting ends, I will say this: skating and ice hockey is very very hard. It's very hard.
Oh
It's
yeah.
very challenge. It's very challenging to do. But that skill is completely different, I assume, than figure skating, right? So yes, you can skate and you can skate fast and you can skate powerfully and you can skate backwards. You can do all those things, but that seems very different than being able to like jump up in the air and spin around 3 times and however like short amount of time that they had to have learned how to do this. But that's okay because that's not what we're here for. We're here for the Moira Kelly, DB Sweeney Love Fest, and that's exactly what we get. So, I don't know. Any parting thoughts here for the cutting edge before we turn it back over to the Winter Olympics as they get ready to
No.
close for 4 more years? Ugh.
4 more years. No, I mean, it's really good. And I'm really glad. I appreciate you bringing it up and telling me to watch it because I do feel like it would have been right up my alley. It definitely would have been right there along with Voyage of the Rock Aliens, which I managed to see and missed this one instead. So maybe in another life, I'll have watched this first.
There you
And
go.
it would have
What a,
been a better, I don't know, a better bar to have set for romances.
whatever was going on your free HBO weekends down there in Texas, I'll never know for sure. So that is the cutting edge. So let us know at home if you've seen the cutting edge. Let us know if you've seen the cutting edge chasing the dream or fire and ice. Let us know if you make a Zamboni cocktail and let us know how you're enjoying the Winter Olympics. You can do any of that stuff on our social medias. That's at Drink the Movies on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Facebook.com/Drink the Movies. If you want to see pictures of the Zamboni we made, episode recaps, links to any of the things, you can do that on our website. It's www.drinkthemovies.com. There you'll find links to stuff like the Drink the Video Games YouTube page. You can go check that out there. I did a special bonus episode about the first licensed Winter Olympic game. You can check that out. A little mini bonus episode and more of those bonus episodes coming soon to our Patreon patrons. And you want to get over there because that's where all the bonus stuff happens. Bonus episodes, hangouts, cocktail chats, all sorts of stuff that happens at patreon.com/drink the movies. We appreciate our patrons so much. Michaela, we did back-to-back Winter Olympics episodes. Next week, we're going to be back to a video episode. Is Wuthering Heights going to be a love story that is equal to Kate Moseley and Doug Dorsey? Probably not, but we're going to talk about it anyways, and people are going to want to listen to that. Well, listen to it. They're going to want to watch it because it's going to be on video. Where can they do that?
You can do that on YouTube. Watch us, listen to us.
You
We
can
are
also do it
on.
on Spotify.
You can also do it on
You can watch
Spotify.
on the Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah, you can watch on the Spotify as well. We are on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, anywhere where Spotify podcasts are supported and distributed. We do 2 drops a week here at Drink the Movies. We do deep dives like the one you just listened to, where we talk about a movie and a cocktail that is inspired by it. And then we also do our lobby bar, which is talking about our box office, what's coming out, and usually a cocktail that is so easy anyone even you can make. Um, if you are so inclined, we'd love you to leave a 5-star review on your little rectangle. Subscribe to us. You guys have built a beautiful, amazing community of people who love drinks and love movies. But that's not all, folks. If you like video games, go check out Drink the Video Games. It's so cool. I don't know anything about any video games, and I love it. It's really fun. I pop in to give you a cocktail as well. But that's really cool. So that's all we got. Yes.
That's all we got. That's
That's
right.
all we got.
Did we win a gold medal? I don't know. We'll never know. So thank you so much for tuning in this week. We'll be back soon, and we'll talk to you later on.
Drink
Drink
the
the
movies.
movies. I'm just going to say toe pick 14 times right now.
Topic. Topic.